Welcome back, everyone. I am so glad you're here. I know, it's been a while since I used the old intro, but I'm feeling a little nostalgic this morning. I just got back from my walk, so if I look a little crazy, that's okay. Later on in the video, I look a little more normal. So I know I'm not on here as often as I should be, but I am on Instagram, as I've mentioned before, at least, I don't know, about once a week, filming my walk, sometimes what I eat that day, and whatever else comes up. And then last week, something else came up. So I filmed a video about it on Instagram, and then some of you over there asked me if I would upload it on YouTube as well. I was hesitant only because the ones who so far have talked about this are pretty much ridiculed and made fun of, which is really unfortunate, because if you have someone walk into an oncologist's office and they get their diagnosis that they have melanoma, the first reaction isn't to laugh or make fun of them. And one of the things I'm going to talk about today actually caused me to have a migraine. So my hope is those type of people completely ignore this video. And to be clear, this has nothing to do with what's been going on in the past year. I hope that answers that question. In fact, I edited out some parts of my Instagram videos, so hopefully there won't be any confusion. So here's how it all started. Hello, so I have a weird one for you today. As some of you may have known, there's something going around on Instagram about things, metal things sticking to your body. And I didn't know if it was true. You never know what to believe, right? So I found it interesting and moved on, right? So anyway, Helena went to work today and asked a few people if she could try it, and it didn't work. So I said, okay, you know, some people it's worked, some people it hasn't. And then because we were discussing it, I was showing her what the lady actually is in Tampa, Florida, the one that I was following her account here on Instagram. And she was explaining how to do it and how it happened. And so I was showing Helena, and in that post, somebody else had posted, and they were actually sticking to her, and she hadn't been. So we're all looking at each other like, how is that possible, right? So of course, that led us down the rabbit hole of trying it on ourselves. So here you'll see 2 dental tools and a fork, and the dental tools are completely straight. I know a lot of people are saying like it's over a muscle, but the dental tools are completely straight. So these are the objects Helena had on her when she walked in the room to show us for the first time. And then this is Helena placing them on Joe. And if you're unfamiliar with how Instagram works, these are in my stories, not on my wall. So the images you see on Instagram, it wouldn't be there. It's up in the stories or the highlights above that. Do it in the center more. Center work. So then after I posted these in my stories, I started receiving photos and videos from people who had it happening to them too. This is of a little one, and it's very common among children too. My son Gianluca, he's 8 and had a fork actually hanging from his chest. So this lady who sent this video, this is actually the second video she sent me. She sent me photos and video way at the beginning when I first showed this, and it's because of her that I actually tried it so in depth on myself. So after receiving these videos, and I have photos too that will be included at the end of this, I decided to ask in my Instagram stories if any more people were experiencing this, and these are just some of the responses. And in some of the responses, it was suggested that it could be an iron buildup. Of course, it's possible. Personally, I've tested to be low in iron, but for others, it might be. Then someone else said it could be the thymus gland attracting the metals to the chest. But then someone else messaged me and said that her child's thymus had actually been removed and metal objects were still sticking to her child's chest. And then I received this message. Which brings me to the video I uploaded on Instagram. Hi again, everyone. This time I'm filming with my camera instead of my phone to hopefully get a better quality video. My camera actually broke, the viewfinder flipped. Now it's broken. So hopefully it won't fall off while I'm filming this. So the last few days obviously have been very eye-opening, concerning. So I'm doing this video specifically for people that have found metal objects sticking or pulling to the body parts, specifically their upper chest, their upper back, their upper shoulders, face, forehead, anything like that. I've tried the abdominal area, both the front and the back, and have not noticed any pull whatsoever, which I don't know what that means, doesn't mean, but for now, there's no pull. And this video is specifically not for people looking for proof, because I'm not here to prove anything. This video is for others like us that are just looking for answers and are very concerned and trying to find out what's going on. For the few that wrote to me to say that this is normal, I don't agree. I don't think this is normal at all. Both doctors I reached out to also said this wasn't normal, and one also tried it on his family members and it stuck to them too. So after the first video where I showed the pull or the metal object sticking to Joe on his chest and his forehead, I also tried it on me and the children. And then the very next day, Joe and I both woke up with burning headaches, especially me. In fact, yesterday was the first day I was able to think clearly, and you who suffer from migraines as well, you know how awful it feels and how it's really hard to focus when you have them. So I asked Joe if I could try it one more time, and I made sure to wipe off all the areas before placing the objects on him. And I originally said that it didn't stick to our shoulders, but this time it did. I don't know if it's because there were so much other metal on him. And then someone asked how strong the pull was, so we filmed him leaning forward and back. I think everything, including the safety pins, fell off. And then while I was cleaning up the forks and the safety pins, he was telling me, I'm sure the pull is just as strong on you. Now at this point, I hadn't tried everything we had tried on him. I had, gone over to the mirror, pulled my shirt aside, and put safety pins here, but I didn't do the full gamut of forks and spoons and dental utensils. So then he grabs 2 coins and he places them on my head here and here, both right over my right eye. One was a quarter, one was a penny. And then he said, well, lean forward, let's see if either of them stay on you. So I leaned forward and the penny fell off, but the quarter stuck. I mean, I could feel the pull. And then this morning when I woke up, where he had placed the coin, the quarter, the pain was so fierce this morning, just in like that one spot. And I don't take anything, I don't want to say a certain brand, but I don't take any acetaminophen for it. I haven't taken that in years. And if you're wondering why, just do a quick internet search. It's all on there. So even though I had that headache, I took my walk this morning, I ate breakfast, and then I started feeling a little bit better. So I decided to test it out on me, just like we had done earlier on Joe, not my head, because obviously my head couldn't take it anymore. And I had my little ones film because Joe was working outside trimming trees. So I had my youngest filming and I had my second youngest placing them on me. They are 8 years old and 10 years old. Recording?
Yeah.
Okay, wipe it off. Okay, go ahead. Go a little higher.
Okay. There.
Okay.
I knew it sticks there.
Right.
Feel it on this side. There.
All right, keep going. If it doesn't stick,
there.
Okay, keep going.
Okay.
We'll try to hold still.
Oh my.
I don't think it sticks at the end. But yeah, I don't think
It does.
It sticks there like right away there. It just
gosh.
like sticks like there like better than.
Yes, I do. I was actually really surprised and just really overwhelmed with what I was witnessing because I thought my pull wouldn't have been as strong as Joe's, but I found it to be even stronger. His all fell off when he leaned over front and back, and I still had ones attached to me leaning over multiple times. I'm sorry you're seeing so much of me here, probably more than you want to, but there it is. Now I know this is also happening for a lot of you and you don't suffer migraines, but at the same time, our bodies are all very different and handle toxins differently. So my body may react with a migraine, whereas yours might react with nausea or diarrhea, not to get gross here, but just to give you an example, Joe's migraines came with a burning smell. So every time he'd have one, he'd said it smelled like something was burning. And I actually talk about this in a YouTube video that I uploaded 2 years ago, never imagining that this might be connected So Joe's migraines had gotten so bad that he went in for an MRI and was diagnosed with chronic sinus infection, which we actually never knew about. And the specific sinus that was always getting infected is not one that is studied as frequently as the front sinuses. At least this is what the doctors had told us. But the weird thing is, when Joe would get these infections, his only symptoms were the burning smell and a migraine. He never had like typical sinus symptoms like stuffy nose or runny nose or a fever or anything like that. And at the same time, I've never even had an MRI, and the pull is stronger on my body than it is on his. And again, at the same time, you all shared that it stuck and pulled on your body, and you've never had a MRI or a migraine.
It's still dangling. It isn't falling off. Wait, it isn't falling off.
Oh,
That one fell off. Yeah, that was the
That's
one.
as far as I could go.
Nothing's falling.
So I'm going to go back to what I said before, and that I believe our bodies are also different and so handle toxins differently, specifically heavy metal toxins, and that's what I think this is. And so many of you reached out to me and you agreed that you think this is what this is too. In fact, you suggested it many times before I even mentioned it in a message back to you. Okay, so some of these were sent to me while working on my video and some were sent to me afterwards. But either way, I'm so grateful that you all took the time out of your day to share your own experiences and what's worked for you. I'm sorry if I didn't include yours in here. Instagram DMs are not as user-friendly as a regular email. There was actually one time where I received a message and then a year later, this person messaged me again and I read the first message for the first time a year later. So when my migraine subsided, I was able to sit up and start looking into heavy metal detox. Now I know there's a lot of you that don't believe in them and there's a lot of you that swear by them. Honestly, I've never tried one. I do have a family member that just finished the Zeolite detox. I think that's what it's called. I have not discussed it with her, so I have no information or I can't help in that regard, but I have never done a specific detox. I mean, I have at one point removed, processed foods and eaten very organically and healthy, but never a specific detox. But there is so much information. A lot of it is conflicting, do this, but not that, do that, but not this. I mean, to the point where your brain is like turning into Swiss cheese. For example, you have Dr. Axe and the Wellness Mama who recommend a certain kind of detox. And then you have Andy Cutler protocol, which is kind of like, not the opposite, but a different kind of detox. He recommends ALA. You can internet search all these things, but it's not exactly the same. Some people feel they're very dangerous. Some people say that they're pyramid schemes. Others say they save their lives. Honestly, I don't think there's a magic pill that's just gonna make this all go away. I believe it's years of exposure to EMFs, whether that be in our house, the air we breathe, the food we eat, and in our environment. And I know I originally asked for feedback from people that haven't received it, but from all the information Brittany is sharing, and I will link to her page down below. I don't know how Instagram works. Usually on YouTube you say down below. I think it's still down below. And I wanna jump in here right now and tell you that that link is below directly to Britt's Instagram page. She is sharing just so much information, a wealth of information, all doing it from a hospital bed. She's still in the hospital or back to the hospital. And she is just really, really helpful with everything she's sharing. But it's happening to both, whether we received it or not. So, it's not a good thing. So those of you who've known me on here for years and years know that when I approach things, I try to do the most natural, gentle way as possible. So I'm starting out slow and simple. And to be clear, I am not a medical professional of any kind. Disclaimer. Okay, so the first one is grounding. Francesca's here. This is my 10-year-old. She's the one that was sticking all the utensils on me. So the first one is grounding. From what I've read, it's anywhere from a half hour to 6 hours. I mean, I don't know, do it as long or as short as you want. Look it up, read up on it. It's called grounding though. And it's where you stand on grass, dirt, sand, the ocean. And some people say walk, other people say just stand there, put your weight on it. It's free, it's easy, why not, right? Number 2, fresh organic garlic. After Joe had his MRI, he was sent home with a 2-month prescription of an antibiotic, which I know some of you are like, that's crazy. I agree, it was a little crazy at the time. I couldn't believe it was being prescribed that. But after the 2 months, shortly after he went off it, that burning smell and the pain came back. And I can't imagine you going back on a antibiotic. So we did the garlic and it worked. I think it was just about a week of my little garlic protocol, and it really worked. Got rid of the burning smell, the pain was gone. So all you do is you take a clove of garlic after each meal and you cut it up into aspirin-sized pieces. And my mom says you should wait about 10 minutes to have the garlic's full potency, I think. I don't know, it doesn't have to be exact, you don't have to set a timer or anything, but I take it 5 to 10 minutes after cutting, and it's 1 clove after each meal, and that's because garlic is strong and you don't want to take it on an empty stomach because you might get really nauseous. Number 3, fresh organic lemons. I've always known how powerful lemons are, but it wasn't until one of Joe's trips to Italy, he's family there, he visits them on occasion. The night before he was about to leave, he had a massive migraine. And normally when that happens, I'll just juice for him, you know, like celery, cucumbers, green apple, lemon, beets, carrots. Of course, he's in Italy, he doesn't have a juicer. So I told my daughter, who was also with him, find a lemon anywhere. It was like 3 in the morning. They ended up finding a lemon on a rooftop. There was a tree on the rooftop and they grabbed a lemon. So she squeezed it in the water because he couldn't even get out of bed. And she squeezed it, and within, I want to say 20 to 30 minutes, he was able to fall asleep. The migraine passed, he woke up, he was fine. So I'm not saying that's the cure-all for everything, but man, those lemons are powerful. Number 4, bentonite clay. We already brush our teeth with this stuff. I use the Redmond's brand, it's called Earth Paste. But then one of you messaged me, thank you, and said that you actually bathe in it. And it comes, I guess, in powder form, and you get in the tub and you sprinkle it in and you bathe in it. So we haven't started that yet. We're going to be doing that. So bentonite clay. Do your research, and if you want to know what it's doing to detox your body, look that up as well. Number 5, sweat. So as you know, skin is like a very large portion of our body, and one quick way is to sweat out the pores. I've read online that some people recommend these small saunas, like I guess you can stick it in a small room and you just sweat it out, but I asked Joe and he said no. But we take our daily walk, and we live in the capital of sweat because we're in Florida. So we sweat every morning, we take our walk. So we're gonna just keep doing that. You know, maybe if he changes his mind, we'll get that little sauna machine, but meanwhile, we sweat every day on our walk. Guaranteed sweat. Number 6, dry brushing. I've heard about this before. I've never done it, but you just buy a soft brush and you just brush over your, I mean, in this case, I guess we would brush wherever everything's stuck. Your face, your head, I don't know. Yeah, maybe everything. So you would soft brush your body and just remove the dead cells off your body. Seems simple enough and cheap. So this is the easy and cheap protocol. And number 7, I have heard about this before, probably a few years back, and I was gonna get it a few years ago. It wasn't really a priority. Now it seems to be a priority, but the EMF meter, where you check electronics and your phone and yourself for how high your EMF reading is on your body. I just purchased one today, so it should be arriving tomorrow. I'm not an expert on this. I can't recommend one. I just bought a cheap one for 20 bucks on Amazon, so I'll see how it goes. I'll get back to you, I'll let you know. I'm not really sure. If there's anyone out there that really knows EMFs well and what the machines mean and all the numbers, feel free to share. And I also want to mention that I did receive my EMF reader, and even though it's a cheapy one, it works, as far as I can tell, really well. It has both, and the temperature right there. So Dominic's holding it for me, and right now it's at 0. And I bring it slowly back, and you'll see as it comes back away from the computer, it comes at safe level. So they say that the beeping in the red is not safe levels. But it's not just computers, it's also other things in your house. Hold on, goes a little bit. But when you bring it near the battery, obviously it goes into the red zone. And then if she makes a phone call, watch this. Goes more than it even can hold on the machine. It overloads. I figured the stove, but I was really surprised about the coffee maker. And it's not even on. I mean, it's plugged in, but it's not even on. The clock. Like for other objects, you could pull it away maybe 6 inches, but this, you have to really pull it much farther away. And the fan, which we used to keep by our beds, but we don't keep by our beds anymore. 0.8, okay, now turn the fan on. And it emits not only by it, but keep going, a good 4 feet out. And of course, try to eat as little or no processed food if you can. I know that's hard. Oh my goodness, Panera's like my best friend. I admit it.
Unlimited butter.
You're loving it?
Yeah.
It's my
So
18-year-old. I'm loving it, Mom. And your teeth are saying thank you for it, right?
Yep. The whitest teeth in the family.
It's the first doctor I found when we came down to an orthodontist and a dentist. Very important.
Very important.
Very important. Okay, that's it. 7 things, 8 things if you include stop eating the processed food. I would say for the most part, I would say 90% of the time, we don't eat processed foods. I actually have a grocery haul up on my YouTube channel, and that is what we buy. We still buy like that. So if you want to go search that, you'll find out exactly what we eat. Now, if you're wondering why I didn't mention chelation therapy, and that's because it should be done under physician supervision, and not all doctors even know about it, so you'd have to find the specialist that does it, and I don't have one. I also didn't mention activated charcoal because I don't know enough about it. I've heard good things, I've read good things, and I also have toothpaste, Redmond's activated charcoal toothpaste that I brush with. But to take the capsules, I don't know. I gotta read more. Maybe you can share with me what you know about it. I was starting to read the reviews before I started this video, and from what I read, it looks great, but at the same time, I don't wanna recommend something to ingest that I'm not familiar with, because all my other recommendations are vegetables, fruit, brushing the skin, and bathing in bentonite clay. So yeah. If you're familiar with charcoal, if it's good, not so good, should be done under supervision, please share. In fact, feel free to share any of your experiences with heavy metal detox. That's what I'm looking for, and I'm sure everybody watching this is looking for that as well. Whether you had a positive or negative experience with the heavy metal detox, please share. All feedback in regards to heavy metal detox will be very much appreciated. Certain detoxes work for some, not others. Same thing with other detoxes. So the more we share, the more we learn. I wanna jump in here one more time and say that if you can afford it, because I checked and just the consultation fee is $900, but seek out a doctor who is familiar with heavy metal detox and will either do a urine test or a hair strand test. These tests are said to show both heavy metal levels and mineral levels. In fact, I just bought a cheapy one on Amazon just to get me started. Obviously, I'm not gonna use it as a definitive diagnosis. I still wanna see a doctor, but it does test like at a generic level of heavy metal, so I'm just gonna try it out. Now, if you're wondering if this is going to be my regular content now, probably not. I mean, it may come up once in a while if I find out anything new. It's been a few days since I originally filmed that first video, and you know, it is what it is. We're going to do our best to lessen our exposure to these toxins, and you know, that's it. All right, the future me is done. Back to the previous me.
That's it.
That is all, but if you know me from YouTube, I'm sure I forgot something because I always forget something. So what a few 4 days, huh? It's been a little overwhelming. And that's it.
We'll see you later.
Okay, I know I said I'm done, but I just want to pop in here one more time and say, don't panic, don't freak out. That's not gonna help the situation. But be more aware of the things around you. Like I said in the previous video, the environment, what you're eating, what you're breathing. There's a lot we can do to lessen this, and that should really be the focus going forward.